Kozuki Oden was one of the strongest people Kaido has ever faced, and even till this day, Kaido still wanted to fight someone on Oden's level, and he obviously got his wish. But when it comes to Big Mom, I do believe she's one of the strongest characters of all time. I just don't think she would be able to defeat Kozuki Oden, and here's why.
This big. How many diapers can he possibly use? Oh, that's not so much. So? I had no idea.
When it comes to children in One Piece, the Yonko have had some of the craziest stories, but I don't think any of them compare to Big Mom. At the young age of 5, she was able to completely destroy Elbaf, and Elbaf is considered to be the strongest country in the world with the strongest military. But if I'm being honest, I don't know if this makes Big Mom look stronger or just makes Elbaf look like fodder, because there's no chance a 5-year-old Big Mom would be able to contend with any actual top tier, so I'm not sure how to look at this, to be honest. Still extremely impressive though. Big Mom is one of the most unpredictable characters because of her idiotic nature. As a pirate, she's probably just as ruthless as Kaido, if not more, since she literally eats her own kids and at the same time protects kids for an entire arc. But for this video, we're going to try and focus on Yonko Mom, because during Wano there are many moments where she looks like a complete joke, and it's not just Wano. Even during Whole Cake there are many times where she did not seem that powerful, and this might make her seem weak, but whenever the situation is critical, she seems to focus a lot more. So I'm going to give Big Mom the benefit of the doubt, because Amnesia Mom and Hunger Pain Big Mom are genuinely unimpressive compared to Yonko Mom. Moving on, we're going to go into Kozuki Oden. So many people seem to downplay him even more than Kaido himself, which makes no sense, but from an early childhood, he had a similar depiction to Big Mom and the other Yonko. He was a troublemaker, and he was already using Enma at the age of 9. He has quite literally had his Haki exerted since he was a 9-year-old child, which is why his Haki is extremely powerful. Now, this is also the main reason his Haki is so much better than the rest of Wano and was so strong in his debut. Not just because he's Oden, but also because he's been using high levels of Haki since he was a child. Now, moving into his teen years, Oden causes more trouble and saves a young Kinemon from a mountain god and cuts it clean in half. He also took down Ashura Doji and created the 9 Scabbards, and eventually taught them the Oden Toryu style. Later, at the age of 32, he meets Whitebeard and is immediately compared to the Rock's pirates and is called brother by Whitebeard. Some people believe because he was the second commander that he was a commander level character, when in reality he was clearly much more powerful. Later on, he meets Roger and his crew and he sails with them to learn the history of the world. He also comes back to Wano at age 34 with advanced Conqueror's Haki, becoming multiple times stronger. He stays for 5 years living like a fool and eventually fights Kaido, and he gets tricked by the evil witch and is defeated while he's off guard, marking the end to Kozuki Oden's story. But you guys know enough about Big Mom and Oden, so let's jump right into the feats. Starting off with attack power, many people really downplay Oden in terms of how strong his abilities are. Something we must understand about Kaido is that his durability is better than Big Mom's, and while she is extremely durable, she's not even close to Kaido in terms of durability. Even at age 39, his dragon skills would boost his durability higher than Big Mom's, meaning Oden's attacks would be more than effective. Looking at Big Mom, her most impressive feats of AP actually don't even come during the Kid in Law fight. During most of the Kid in Law fight, she uses her Delver Fruit for the majority, and I think it's pretty safe to argue none of these attacks would scale above Oden's AP. Even Mazer Cannon, as cool as it looks, stands no chance to a Paradise Tosca. At best, you could scale this attack to Yamato's Thunder Bagua when she was in Sea Prism Cuffs in base form. And it should also be noted that Yamato hit ulti before Big Mom did, so ulti was not even at 100% when she got hit by Big Mom. But if we forget about that for a second, looking at both these attacks, they were able to knock out ulti for a couple of minutes. So again, at best, Mazer Cannon scales to like a highly suppressed Thunder Bagua from Yamato. We got Ikoku Sovereignty, which Kid straight up tanks to the face, and then he proceeds to double team her with Law. So I don't think Ikoku Sovereignty would even come close to a Paradise Tosca, because this attack made Kaido drop on his ass. So if I'm being completely honest, Kid or Law would probably get slammed if they got cut by Oden. Now, looking towards Oden, his attack power during the pre-voyage was arguably already better than any of the Delver Fruit abilities we have seen from Big Mom. He was capable of going toe-to-toe with the most powerful Paramecia in the series, and to be completely fair to Whitebeard, he was using a pretty basic punch. But after the fight, Whitebeard did not make it seem like Oden was weak. Whitebeard to personally take matters into his own hands, you would have to already be a top tier combatant. Misery's another powerful one, but Law literally just cuts it in half like it's nothing. And this isn't even with his Delver Fruit, he literally just cuts it in half with a normal slash with a backflip. So again, if Big Mom wants to match Oden's AP, she would definitely have to use Advanced Conqueror's Haki, and there is the possibility that Big Mom was not holding back and she just can't use Advanced Conqueror's Haki as much as Kaido. Now it's time to compare their speed. and we can go ahead and move on. Alright, moving on to something that's actually worth discussing, durability and endurance. And this is actually where Big Mom seems to shine the most. Comparing her to other top tiers and even other Yonko, she's a lot more durable. Even if the Navy were to cuff her like they did Roger, they would need top tiers to come and execute her, because otherwise their attacks would literally be useless. Now, obviously, even with all this durability, this does not mean she's literally invincible, which is why she's not in Kaido's top 5, and Kaido's top 5 is completely filled with humans. Now, when it comes to Kozuki Oden, he has shown some incredible levels of durability. He also got right back up after taking a divine departure from Roger, and later he learns how to use advanced Conqueror's Haki and becomes multiple times stronger, which means even something like this divine departure would not be much of a challenge for a 39-year-old Oden. As I mentioned earlier on, Oden is the only character that we know of who has been using advanced Haki since he was a child. With Enma forcibly draining his Haki, his advanced Ryo is extremely potent, and he has master control of it. With stages 2 and 3, you can not only do internal damage, but also adds an extra layer of defense, which is true for regular arm and Haki in general. It typically boosts defense, so with Oden having the advanced form, his durability is very formidable. In an actual fight though, I think Oden's durability could be pretty comparable to Big Mom, but I'm obviously going to give the overall category to Big Mom. But I do believe Oden has comparable amounts of endurance and enough to get him the W, so I'm going to give them both the point for this round. Now it's time to talk about Haki. Big Mom is capable of using basic forms of Haki and advanced Conqueror's Haki. She has not shown the ability to use second or third stages of Ryo. When it comes to Oden though, he is able to use both advanced arm and Haki and Conqueror's Haki, which seemingly does matter based on Luffy's fight with Kaido. Kaido has also gone out of his way to give Oden's Haki some wink, and to be honest, based on his feats, is definitely powerful enough to contend with Big Mom, especially if she fights the same way she did against Kid and Law. I think a lot of people downplay Oden's Haki because nobody on this island has comparable feats besides Zoro or Luffy, which means at a bare minimum, he would be on par with the likes of a 10-10 Luffy, but realistically, since Oden can obviously control his Haki a lot better than Luffy, he'll be a lot closer to Luffy after 10-25. But when it comes to overall Haki, I'm actually going to give the edge to Oden because of the fact that he has more advanced applications, and he's been using Haki since he was a child, and because again, Kaido himself winks his Haki as something special even until this day. Now, it comes to how the fight would actually go down. I believe Big Mom would probably use more Haki attacks like she did against Kaido, but that's just speculation, so we're gonna just have to go with what she actually shown us. In the battle against Kid and Law, she was being tag teamed and pinned down by some pretty broken abilities, which Oden obviously does not have, and this 2v1 was really more about overwhelming Big Mom until they could push her off the roof. Big Mom would be able to land more attacks on Oden during this battle, and she would be able to move more freely. In terms of overall speed, even a pre-voyage Oden would pretty much blitz Big Mom for a lot of the fight, but giving Big Mom the benefit of the doubt, we'll say she keeps up just fine. Now, in an actual 1v1, I believe Big Mom's horrible battle IQ would allow Oden to get some critical hits. When it comes to Big Mom though, she would not be catching anybody off guard. When it comes to Big Mom's Devil Fruit, I think her abilities are pretty overrated, and Misery is probably the most embarrassing example. The Mazer Saber, which is another overrated ability, was used by Big Mom while she was amped, and she creates Misery, which seems to be the most powerful ability, even stronger than the overrated Mazer Cannon. Now, this attack got a lot of build up, right? Because it's like sentient and it's Big Mom's finisher, but Law pretty much makes this move look like child's play, and after barely even paying attention, he jumps up, does a backflip, and cuts it in half. And it really would not be that effective against the likes of Oden. It would really be more of an annoyance. So again, if Law is backflipping through Big Mom's most powerful abilities, I don't see Oden having too much trouble with it. But the one downside is though, he's going to have to deal with all of these abilities all alone. So that is something Law and Kid didn't necessarily have to deal with. A lot of this fight involved Big Mom being overwhelmed and Kid and Law evading attacks. But in this specific scenario, she will have a lot more control. However, as I mentioned before, even with the chance to land more attacks, Oden is straight up faster than her by a considerable margin. And even during the pre-voyage, his endurance was so high that Big Mom's Devil Fruit would probably not be effective at all. And to give even more evidence, because Big Mom fans are just going to try and pretend that her moves are like extremely powerful, we can look at Fulgora and Indra, which in hindsight are very powerful abilities, but Kid and Killer were able to deal with them pretty easily. And this is before Kid even used an Awakening, which wouldn't even boost his durability to begin with. So again, I don't care how badly you want to wank her AP, is genuinely not that comparable to Oden, unless she is using Conqueror's Haki. But obviously, seeing as she is the Iron Balloon and still a Yonko, she should still be a very difficult fight for Oden, especially considering her defenses. But to end this video, I believe Kozuki Oden and anybody in Kaido's top 5 should be strong enough to defeat the Iron Balloon. But what do you guys think? Drop a comment down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.